I'm not John Green, and this is definitely not Crash Course U.S. History. Today we'll be discussing American radicalism and the people who made this a section of our final review, from Samuel Adams
to William Lloyd Garrison
to Daniel Shays and Nathaniel Bacon.
And more. Connor, he's not actually a piece of bacon. According to dictionary.com, a radical is a person who holds or follows strong convictions or extreme principles.
Now, Nathaniel Bacon was one of the earliest radicals in American history. Being a wealthy planter, he disliked stupid Governor William Berkeley's authoritarian rule and began what came to be known as, believe it or not, Bacon's Rebellion.
Bacon's Rebellion originally started off as a confrontation between Indians and the settlers demanded that the governor authorize the removal of the Indians, but the governor refused.
Bacon and his indentured servants didn't like that. As a result, they did many radical actions such as burning houses to the ground, massacring Indians, and plundering the estates of Berkeley's followers. After all of these horrible events, the Virginia elites decided that indentured servants suck and slaves are awesome.
We agree. So one group active leading up to the American Revolution was the Sons of Liberty. In 1765, the British government established the Stamp Act, which is basically a tax requiring that all printed materials in the colonies have a stamp on them.
Keep in mind that to buy these stamps, you had to use British currency rather than colonial currency, which really sucked for all the colonists.
As a result, the Sons of Liberty were made. In 1773, the British created the Stupid Tea Act, which basically created tax on tea. The Sons of Liberty protested against this by throwing tea off ships, also known as the Boston Tea Party.
So you've agreed to do an interview with us today.
Indeed.
So first question, what was the purpose of the Sons of Liberty?
Well, our purpose was really to strike out against British injustice and to end the taxes in the colony, really.
So how do you hope to effect a change in the colonies after the Stamp Act was established?
I wanted to get rid of the taxes that they put on us, and I really didn't like that they were taxing us without our own representation, and didn't like that, so I just wanted to get rid of those taxes and stop any future injustice that they might do.
That, Mr. Adams, but we're just wondering, why did you take such radical actions?
I felt it was the only way that we can make ourselves heard. I mean, if we took a pacifist approach, I felt like it wouldn't really go anywhere, and the British government wouldn't really understand our problem because they're a whole ocean away and they were just tyrannizing us.
Okay, thank you for your time today, Mr. Adams.
So in late 1786, many Massachusetts farmers were debt-ridden. They tried to convince the government to help them out, but the government didn't want to, so Daniel Shays led the farmers in rebellion against the government and closed many of the western Massachusetts courts. This came to be known as Shays' Rebellion, and it convinced many prominent Americans that the Articles of Confederation were insufficient and that a better form of government was necessary.
One particular movement that started without very much excitement, and that was abolitionism. But with a new brand of abolitionists, such as William Lloyd Garrison, calling for the immediate abolition of slavery, it took a radical turn. Garrison was a sort of the epitome of radicalism, and he actually wanted the North to secede from the South, and he even burned a copy of the Constitution because he believed it was a compact with the devil for even allowing slavery to make its way into the Union, and he faced the consequences when he was dragged through the streets of Boston for his actions.
We sure did.
However, not all abolitionists were radicals, such like Garrison. There were people like Theodore Weld who used preaching styles of the old revivals to denounce slavery in a sort of just less radical way.
One other radicalist, John Brown, would start the attack at Harper's Ferry. This began the Civil War, which was a great war between the North and the South.
So John Brown, you agreed to this interview about your assault on Harper's Ferry?
No, I never agreed to that.
Okay.
In 1909, a radicalist group known as the United Laborers was made. This group supported the rights of unskilled laborers, and in less than 10 years, it had over 700,000 members, including African Americans, whites, Italians, French, but the one race it did not have was Chinese. Can I join the Knights of Labor?
Are you Chinese?
Does it look like I am?
Yeah.
So can I?
No.
What? 你们很笨蛋，你去笑。
What were the goals of the Knights of Labor?
Well, we wanted to improve working conditions for all Americans, including reducing the workday to 8 hours and banishing child labor.
To what extent did you accomplish these goals?
We weren't necessarily successful in accomplishing our goals per se, but we definitely had a lasting impact.
And what was that lasting impact?
We'd set the precedent for groups such as the AFL, and
Thanks for your time.
thanks, it was a pleasure.
May 1st, 1886, the Knights of Labor began the famous event also known as the bomb explosion at Haymarket Square. At this event, Chicago workers protested for the death of one of their comrades earlier that day, and the police, in a result of response to aggression, started pulling their weapons out. As a result, one unidentified worker decided to throw a bomb into the crowd, and this caused an entire chaos of gun shooting and death to occur.
The Ku Klux Klan began a reign of terror in the South following the Civil War. From its founding, the KKK was a terrorist organization and consisted of white Southerners intent on terrorizing blacks and white Republicans. African Americans bore the brunt of the violence, but some wartime Unionists, local office holders, teachers, and Republican Party organizers suffered as well. The KKK murdered, whipped, and lynched people, and the federal government passed enforcement acts to shut them down. Because, nobody can just kill people and get away with it. Unless you are, wait for it, the Mongol. Or Hitler. Or any other number of dictators.
What have you done with those plans?